In this video, we're going to look at this rational function 9x plus 5 divided by x squared minus x minus 6, and we're going to talk about the asymptotes. So first of all, let's talk about the vertical asymptotes. The vertical asymptotes are going to be our bad spots in our domain. Okay? Typically, in this class, we're going to find our vertical asymptotes by simply taking that denominator, x squared minus x minus 6, and setting it equal to 0. Okay? You could use the quadratic formula here. I think this thing factors nicely though. So let's see, x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. Correct. So x squared minus 3x plus 2x. Yep, that gives it to me. So that gives me that x equals 3, where x equals negative 2. That is, if I plug x equals 3 into here, I get a 0 in my denominator. That's a bad spot. We can't divide by 0. If I plug x equals a negative 2 into there, I get a 0 in my denominator. That's a bad spot. So we have these vertical asymptotes. These places where the graph can't go at. So that gives me my vertical asymptotes at x equals 3. I think the book tells you to put them in order from lowest to greatest. Negative 2 and 3. Okay? And for my horizontal asymptotes, that's going to be the long-term behavior. Okay? Long-term behavior. Okay? And so at this point, we should know that this function r of x equals 9x plus 5 divided by x squared minus x minus 6. As we go, as x approaches plus or minus infinity, r of x is going to be approximately equal to the biggest term on top, 9x, divided by the biggest term on the bottom. And watch the previous videos to see the formal algebra of how that works out. X squared. So this is going to equal what, to 9 over x. Therefore, r of x goes to 0 as x goes to plus or minus infinity. So we see we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Okay, and we see here as x is positive and really big, we're going to be approaching 0 from the top. As x is negative and really big, we're going to be approaching 0 from the bottom. Okay, let me go get the graph. Let's see, file, insert picture. Here we go. So which one was it? Rational functions 4 is that one. So here's the graph of that function, and here are my vertical asymptotes right here. Here's the vertical asymptote at x equals a negative 2, and we see here as look back, so as we go out toward infinity that way, we see this thing is approaching 0 from the top. It's going to be 0 plus. That is, this graph's going to continue out and do that number. And over here, as we go toward negative infinity, we see this thing's going to be approaching 0 from the bottom. 0 minus, but in both directions we're approaching 0, and that's what we call the. So here in red, I have my vertical asymptotes. There and there. Those come from x equals a negative 2 and x equals 3. That's 3. That's negative 2. And then we see as we approach infinity, in one direction we go to 0, and in the other direction we go to 0. Okay? So vertical asymptotes at x equals negative 2, 3. Horizontal asymptotes y equals 0. Hope this video helps you out.